Hi guys, Vipin here. Now, one of the people who commented on my videos told me, can you do something related to investment banking? Now, before I actually do some of the detailed aspects of investment banking, I wanted to distinguish what is retail banking and what is investment banking, because a lot of people get confused between the two. Now, let's look at what investment banking is. Now, investment banking has got a lot of glamour. That is at least what people say. If you look at movies, especially Wolf of Wall Street, or I think there is a movie called Wall Street itself, they show a lot of stories and situations where people are running in behind computers, phones, and investing millions of dollars and making that millions of dollars into even more millions of dollars. Is that actually true? Yeah, up to an extent, but that's not really the main aspect of investment banking. The other sides of investment banking are what I've put across on the screen there. You have private placement, you have underwriting, you have mergers and acquisitions, you have something called as corporate restructuring. And there are many aspects to investment banking. But what really gave the glamour aspect to investment banking is when clients would give you a large amount of money, they would tell you, here, take these millions of dollars and make them into even more millions of dollars. I think that's where the glamour aspect of for investment banking was actually added. Now, the other ones that I mentioned, like for example, let's take mergers and acquisitions. So, if you are in investment banking, this is one of the fields of investment banking. So, what would you do in the field of mergers and acquisitions? Now, let's say, for example, company A wants to take over company B. Or we will take a better example here. Tata Motors wants to take over Jaguar and Land Rover. Now, before they actually purchase Land Rover and Jaguar, they would approach an investment bank and ask them, look, we are interested to take over this company. Do you think it's a wise decision to actually take over Jaguar and Land Rover? Now, the investment bank is going to evaluate every aspect of this acquisition. And after evaluating all this, they're going to publish a report and submit this to Tata Motors. Now, Tata Motors will go through the report and see, okay, how much do I actually pay for every share of Jaguar or every share of Land Rover and when I purchase this company? And based on that, they could go ahead with it, or they could in fact say, okay, never mind, let's postpone the deal or cancel the deal altogether. This is something what people do when it comes to investment banking. Now, the other aspect for banking, like I said, is retail banking. Now, retail banking is a lot more older than investment banking. Investment banking is a very new field compared to retail banking. Retail banking is pretty much the origin of the whole banking system. So, what is retail banking? In retail banking, the number of transactions that happen in retail banking is a lot. But the value of these transactions, that is the deposits and the loans that people give out, the value of these transactions are in fact very low in nature. But the number of these transactions, like I said, they happen in larger numbers than compared to investment banking. Investment banking, the number of transactions is very less, but the value of these transactions in investment banking is a lot more than what happens in retail banking. People say that retail banking doesn't have a lot of glamour to it. Now, I say that's pure bullshit because these people are not really well informed as to what happens in retail banking. If you are someone who's really keen on learning finance, you're really interested to see how money moves in the entire financial network, it all starts with retail banking itself. In fact, the basis of the whole financial system is structured around retail banking, and especially the Indian retail banking system is considered to be one of the most stable financial systems in the entire world. Now, also, you might not really know this, but if you're getting a career in retail banking, particularly in these nationalized banks, the amount of salary you make here is a lot more than what you could make if you were maybe a software engineer or any of these other private companies would actually pay you. This is something which very few people are aware of. And if you are familiar with something called the bank PO exam, get through the bank PO exam and join any of these nationalized banks. You would be surprised how well they actually pay. Apart from the salary, the other very cool benefits that they give you as well is also something that you can look forward to. Lastly, Are banks also into investment banking? That is, retail banks, are they also into investment banking? Yeah, some of them actually are. Banks like Syndicate Bank are mostly into retail, but if you talk about banks like State Bank of India, what these guys do is they establish a subsidiary, and when they establish a subsidiary, through the subsidiary, they're able to carry on these investment banking operations. Now, what does a subsidiary actually mean? It means a larger company is going to manage a smaller company. That is, State Bank of India, as you can see here on the, for me, it's on the left hand side. On the left hand side, you can see State Bank of India. And State Bank of India is the larger company that manages the smaller company, that is SBI Capital. Now, SBI Caps or SBI Cap Securities, those guys are purely into investment banking. If you want, say, to take over another company, you could take their consultancy services and they would gladly help you out. Or let's say, for example, you want to invest in the stock market, you want a broker to take your money and put it in the stock market. SBI Capital is able to provide you those services. This is in fact what happens when it comes to retail banking and investment banking. I hope you found this video interesting. Do hit the subscribe button and do recommend my channel to your friends, your relatives, everybody. Anyway guys, thank you for your time. Have a nice day. Bye.